स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of lives of direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. We were studying the life of Swami Adbhutanandaji Maharaj, who was called Latu Maharaj. In the last session, we had seen that Sri Ramakrishna gave up his body in Mahasamadhi. He merged, and how when Sharda Devi came there, she told, "O Mother Kali, what have I done that you have left us?" Seeing the mother weeping, Baburam and Jogin went up to her, and Golapma took her to her room. Shortly after that, Captain arrived. He asked us to rub the master's body with ghee, clarified butter. There are some methods in the Ayurveda and Yoga by which the mind of the person who has gone to Samadhi can be brought back by repeating the name of the Lord whom he likes, the Ishtadevata, or some particular mantra, or by rubbing the ghee, clarified butter, in the reverse direction at the backbone or on the legs, so that can bring down the mind. So there are so many methods. Since Captain Upadhyay, Vishwanath Upadhyay, he was called as captain by Ramakrishna. He was the officer from the Nepal government as a representative to the business of the British East India Company. So this Captain Upadhyay who came there was also a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Vishwanath Upadhyay. He asked us to rub Sri Ramakrishna's body. So this is all being narrated by Latu Maharaj. Latu Maharaj is narrating about the last day of Sri Ramakrishna's Mahasamadhi. In the meantime, all the Calcutta devotees had received the news, and one after another they began to arrive. A photograph, actually two, was taken at the time of the master with the devotees. By the time it was afternoon, Sri Ramakrishna's body remained on a cot, beautifully decorated, until it was carried to the cremation ground at Kashipur. Even now, if you go to that cremation ground near Kashipur, I think one portion of the cremation ground where Ramakrishna's body was consigned to the flame, and also Mahendranath Gupta, then many other disciples of Ramakrishna like Swami Abhedananda. So they have all been cremated there, and that grave or that particular spot is still maintained. So that portion and some other portion of that graveyard has been given to the ashrama. So a ashrama has also been built there, monument, a meditation hall, everything has been built there now recently, that is some 3 or 4 years back. So anybody going to Calcutta can go to that place and visit that place and come back. It's on the bank of Ganga. And Gauri Ma, another lady disciple of Ramakrishna, it's also the place where they have been cremated. Ramachandra Datta, whom Latu Maharaj used to call Ram Babu. So because it is narrated by Latu Maharaj, he's telling, Ram Babu told me here means Latu Maharaj, to stay at the garden house until Akshay Babu, that is Akshay Kumar Sen, another disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, returned from the cremation ground. Sorry, Akshay Kumar Babu returned from the cremation ground. So I stayed there while the others went. Only once did I hear Holy Mother weeping here in the Kashipur garden house. After that, she was silent. Never, Latu Maharaj is telling, never have I seen a woman with such great strength of mind. So you can study the life and the personality of Holy Mother. So here Latu Maharaj himself is praising the strength of mind of Holy Mother. Holy Mother had come to this earth as an avatara to show an ideal for womanhood, motherhood, ideal wife. So many ideals were there. So we can study here. Latu Maharaj is telling, never have I seen a woman with such strength. That night I went to the cremation ground. I saw many people sitting quietly on the bank of the Ganga. Sri Ramakrishna, later on who became Swami Ramakrishna, Sri Bhushana Chakravarti, and Sharat Chandra Chakravarti, both of them Ramakrishna used to call. They were two important disciples of Jesus Christ in their last life. One of them was Shashi. So here Latu Maharaj is mentioning about Sri Bhushana Chakravarti, who would become later Swami Ramakrishna, was near the funeral pyre. He had so much of Guru Bhakti. Shashi Maharaj was known for his Guru Bhakti. The intensity of the Guru Bhakti was so much that he was catching hold of a fan, a physical fan, not the electrical fan, a physical fan. He was catching hold of that fan in his hand, and he was thinking that Ramakrishna is still alive there. He was fanning to the cremation pyre also. So can you imagine the emotion and the intensity of Guru Bhakti? He thinks Ramakrishna is still living, and Shashi Maharaj, that is Ramakrishna, that is Ramakrishna Shashi Maharaj was fanning, was near the funeral pyre with a fan in his hand. And Sharat, that is the other brother, cousin brother, was with him. Sharat Chandra Chakravarti would become Swami Sharadananda. Both Sharat and Lorraine, so Latu Maharaj used to call Narain as Lorraine, sought to console Shashi. Shashi couldn't be consoled. He was sobbing, he was crying. Now Latu Maharaj is telling, I took him by the hand and tried to lift his spirit a little, but he remained motionless with grief. Then Shashi collected the ashes and bones of Sri Ramakrishna and put them in an urn. He placed the urn in his head and carried it to the garden house, where it was kept on Sri Ramakrishna's bed. That urn has been still preserved. It is there in Belur Math, and all the other ashes were taken, and some part is kept, major part is kept in Belur Math under the image of Sri Ramakrishna in the altar. Then small portions have been given to different ashramas. Some major portion is also there in Rama Chandra Datta's, the garden house, Kankurgachi. So many ashramas they were given. Even we had seen that in Bangalore Ramakrishna Ashram also some portion, a small portion is there. We used to take that out on the birthday of Sri Ramakrishna. And We used to worship that thing on that day, on the birthday of Sri Ramakrishna. The disciples continued to worship Sri Ramakrishna's relic. However, Ramachandra Datta wanted to enshrine the relics of the master at his garden house, Kankurgachi, and he wanted to establish a monastery there. Now, some of the direct disciples refused to accept this idea. Narendra settled the matter by sharing some of the relics with Ramachandra Datta, who installed them at Kankurgachi on Lord Krishna's birthday, that is Krishna Janmashtami. So that Krishna Janmashtami, that year, it was on 23rd August 1886. It was enshrined in Kankurgachi Ashram. Latu, because he was earlier a worker, a servant in the house of Ramachandra Datta, Latu attended the consecration ceremony in Kankurgachi. On 30th August 1886, Holy Mother Sharda Devi left for pilgrimage. See, all of us, other people, even at the shortest notice or even after anything, we go running here and there to pleasure trips. But in India, it was not the pleasure trips, but they used to go to temples, they used to go to pilgrimages for peace of mind, for joy, everything, whatever. So it was concentrated. The whole life of Indians, the whole life of Hindus was based on God realization, to realize God. From the childhood, that idea will be given. God is a center. Everything is centered around God. So now here, even after the death of some near and dear ones, they are directed to go to pilgrimage for the peace of mind, for a change of place. So it is not to pleasure trips, but to spiritual excursion. So now, on 30th August 1886, Holy Mother Sharda Devi left for pilgrimage along with the niece of Ramakrishna, that is Lakshmi Devi, Ramakrishna's niece. Then the other people who accompanied Holy Mother Sharda Devi to this pilgrimage were Golapma, then Mahendranath Gupta, young recorder of gospel, that Mahendranath Gupta's wife, Kali. Kali means Swami Abhedananda. He had not taken sannyasa at that time, so he was called Kali. Then Jogin, who would later become Swami Yogananda, and Latu. All of them. Holy Mother Sharda Devi accompanied by Lakshmi, the niece of Ramakrishna, Gulapma, Mahendranath Gupta's wife, Kali, that is would be Swami Abhedananda, Jogin, that is would be Swami Yogananda, Latu. So they all went to the pilgrimage. Where? To Vrindavan, the birthplace of Lord Krishna, Vrindavana. They first stopped at Devgar. Where is that Devgar? From Calcutta, while going towards Bihar. At that time, Devgar was still in Bihar, a part of Bihar. Later on, the state of Bihar was divided based on the tribal population there, and a separate state was made, carved out of Bihar. And that state presently is called Jharkhand. Earlier, that was a part of Bihar, whole, total Bihar. So now it has become a state or a province called Jharkhand. So this Devaghar, Deva means God, Ghar means house. So God's house. So in that Devgar, we have a very famous Shiva temple where is called Vaidyanatha. Vaidya means doctor. The in Sanskrit word Vaidya is doctor. Natha, Lord of the doctors, who can cure all the maladies, not only the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, all type of diseases. The Lord can cure it. So Shiva here is called as the king of doctors, Vaidyanatha. So a very famous temple of Shiva is there. Ramakrishna also, while he went to pilgrimage to Kashi, he had come to this place, visited the shrine, worshipped the Lord Shiva, and there outside the temple or wherever he resided in Devagar, when he saw a group of very poor tribal people, Santals, they were such, the area they lived, they were so poor, they never had sufficient cloth to cover their body. The skin was so dry because there was no oil to put on their head or on the skin, and they had not taken food, and the body was emaciated for many days maybe. So seeing their condition, Ramakrishna felt very sad for them. He sympathized, he empathized. Then he told Mathurnatha that to feed them, to give them cloth, to give them oil to apply to their skin and hair. So when Mathur refused because there is no money, then the money for the pilgrimage would not be sufficing. So we shall now focus on pilgrimage. We shall not do all these things, otherwise we will not have sufficient money for the pilgrimage. Then Ramakrishna told, for me, these poor creatures, the poor people are Lord Shiva. I don't want any other pilgrimage. Lord Shiva is present in these poor people. Without serving the poor people, if you have to go and see Shiva only in the temple or in Kashi, it's of no use. I'm not going to come to the pilgrimage. I will stay with them and I will serve them. So these were the words of Ramakrishna. I will not come to your pilgrimage. I will stay with them. You go to the pilgrimage. Then Mathur was shocked. What is this? Ramakrishna is telling I will stay with these poor people. So there was no other alternative. That was ultimatum by Ramakrishna. Then Mathurnath Vishwa said to send people or send the telegram to Calcutta and bring meters and meters of cloth for them, and everything, money, oil, everything was bought and given to them, food, they were fed nicely. So only after Ramakrishna saw a smile on their faces, happiness in their personality in those poor people, they were fed properly, they were clothed properly, they were given the oil for the hair and the skin, then only Ramakrishna was happy and agreed to come to the pilgrimage. Otherwise he told, no, I will stay with these people and serve them. So the relief work, the first relief work of Ramakrishna mission, do you think we started it, we sannyasis, the monks of Ramakrishna order? No. Ramakrishna himself started the primary relief. See here. Everywhere you can see Ramakrishna doing everything. Then we follow him. We followed Master, that's all. So he started this first relief work, the service of the poor, seeing Lord Shiva in them and serving them. So he has shown us how to serve the living being as Lord Shiva himself. So that is Devgar. It's in Jharkhand now, on the way towards Kashi. So they stopped here while Holy Mother and her troop, while going towards the pilgrimage to Vrindavan, they first stopped at Devgar to visit the temple of Lord Shiva, Vaidyanatha, the Lord of the doctors. And then from there, from Vaidyanatha, they went to their next destination was Kashi, Varanasi. Varanasi Purapatim Bhaja Vishwanatham. So Vyasastaka. we find that Vyasa writing that wonderful stotra, Vishwanatashtakam, Varanasi Purapatim Bhaja Vishwanatham, the Lord of Varanasi. Why is that place called that great pilgrimage, the highest pilgrimage of Hindus? Why do you call it highest? Because this is the place where you get mukti, liberation. Anybody, any human being, he might have committed any amount of sin, the worst of the sins, whatever might be his wrongdoings. If you give up your body in Kashi or in Varanasi, then surely 200% you're going to get mukti, liberation. Because Lord Shiva himself personally will see that that person will get liberation. And Mother, Divine Mother Kali or Annapurneshwari, she will open up all the bondages, all the bonds that are binding the Paramatma Swarupa, the Atma Swarupa, the human being, the bonds binding are removed from her own hands, and she will push that Atman into the realm of liberation, the Turiya Avastha, Mukti. So, any proof? Ramakrishna, when he went to Varanasi, had the vision there, Lord Shiva in that cremation ground while the people body are being burnt, going there, lifting up the Jivatman one by one and uttering the Taraka mantra, giving the mantra Diksha, just like many of you have got the mantra Diksha, like that Lord Shiva himself giving the mantra in the ear, the Taraka mantra. And then Divine Mother Annapurneshwari or Kali, Sarva Shakti Samanvite Kali, Ramakrishna had this vision that day while he was going on the bank of Ganga. When they came to the Manikarnika Ghat, then Ramakrishna saw that vision, tall, tawny figure with the matted hairs, Jata, Shiva. So giving that mukti and divine with the help of Mother Kali. So all that Ramakrishna had the vision. So that is Varanasi, Vishwanatha, the Kshetra of Vishwanatha, where Lord Shiva lives. Recently, the Prime Minister of India has renovated that Kashi temple in a beautiful way. It was demolished, it was destroyed, and a masjid was built by the Islamic rulers of that time, Aurangzeb and many other Mughal rulers. And all that was in bad condition until now. Now, that was last year, even during the COVID, our present Honorable Prime Minister of India was working for that maybe 5 to 6 years, since 5 to 6 years, taken up the personal responsibility of developing Varanasi, the highest pilgrimage of Hindus. And not only he got it renovated completely, so 15 days being before renovating the temple and inaugurated, while the process of renovation, the final process was still going on, I visited Kashi and I saw all that being renovated, how everything was being renovated. So now you can directly go to Ganga. From Ganga, you can bring water. Then you can bring it to this Shiva temple and pour that on the head of Lord Shiva. So worship him there. Everybody, anybody and everybody can go and worship, touch the linga. And here now, Holy Mother has the vision also. When people were going there and touching the head of Shiva, Shiva was sitting there and receiving all their sins. Shiva is so karunamaya, so much of karuna, compassion towards the living being. He's sitting there, and any person going there and pouring a little water, that's all. You need not do any big service to Lord Shiva. Nothing. Free of cost, Ganga is flowing there. Bring that water and pour it on the head of Shiva. That he will be pleased. That is all. So simple. Bholanatha. Shiva is so simple. And another name for Lord Shiva is Ashutosha. Will be pleased very quickly. You need not do too much of worship and rituals and other things. You will be pleased very, very quickly. Ashutosha. Ashutosham is very quickly will he be pleased and he will give you boon. So that Shiva, Mother, Holy Mother had the vision there in Kashi, that when the people used to go and touch him, touch that Shivalinga and worship, put that Ganga water on his head, Lord Shiva would sit there and accept all their sins on himself. Even Pandavas, after the war, because they thought they had killed their kith and kin, and so they had committed sins, all that sins, they wanted to give it to Lord Shiva because that is the tradition in India, amongst the Hinduism. So all the Pandavas had gone there to give their sins to Lord Shiva. So after that, he will play a little, and then the Kedaranath temple was built at that time, or Shiva manifested himself in the form of Kedarnath. That is a different story. Let me not bring that story here. So Varanasi. Why is it called Varanasi? Because there are two rivers flowing. They come from the plains, there is a land, and they merge into Ganga. One side it is Ganga flowing, making a semicircle going round Varanasi. Then there are two rivers from different direction coming there and entering to Ganga. So the place between Varuna, this river Varuna, and Asi, two rivers Varuna and Asi and Ganga, the area, the place, the land mass between these three rivers, Varuna and Asi, and Ganga is there. So that is called, that's why it gets the name Varanasi, because it is between Varuna, river Varuna, and Asi. So that place is called Varanasi. And later on, people, the village people and the other people, they cannot pronounce the Sanskrit words properly. So it is called Apabhramsha, or they manipulate those words. They cannot pronounce properly. So they bring down that word. So Vakara, V, Varanasi becomes Ba. So Varanasi, then finally now it has become Banaras. So Varanasi has become Banaras. So now they call it as Banaras. The real Sanskrit name is Varanasi. So I told you why it is called Varanasi. Then also another name for that very same place is Kashi. Why is it called Kashi? Because city of light. Because of the presence of Shiva and because of the presence of so many sadhakas, people, the sages, the rishis, the munis, the saints, not only now or just 100 or 200 years, but thousands and thousands or millions of years from the time of creation. So even during the Pralaya, the whole universe will be dissolved, dissolution, Pralaya. But Varanasi, because who does all this Pralaya? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva absorbs all this created universe into himself. That is Pralaya. So even during Pralaya, this Kashi will be there. Kashi will not get dissolved because that is a place where Lord Shiva lives. So that is the greatness of Kashi, and from that time, from time immemorial, millions of years, so many Hindus, so many saints, so many people there are meditating of thinking of God and God and God alone, realizing Lord, always meditating, always thinking of God. So that place is replete with, condensed with spirituality, condensed, replete everywhere. It is spirituality. So spirituality gives out glow, light. So condensed spirituality will be glowing like gold. So the whole city, to the yogi, if you are a yogi, you have the yogic vision. If you have the third eye opened, so you can see the whole city as gold. Why gold? Because of the light emanating, condensed spirituality. So Ramakrishna had the vision when he went there. As if it was covered with gold and light everywhere. The city looked to him. Because Ramakrishna was a realized soul, he was Avatar Purusha, was God himself. So that is called Kashi, meaning city of light. So there are so many other names. These are the important names. Varanasi, Kashi. So many other, we are not bothered about all the other names. So now that place, Vishwanatha. So Holy Mother Sharda Devi and her troop and troch. So they came to Varanasi to have the darshan of Lord Vishwanatha. Now Latu, during that period, in Varanasi, there lived a great soul, a sannyasin called Swami Bhaskarananda. You know, when Ramakrishna went, he met Trilinga Swami, a realized soul. There, the people of Uttar Pradesh and that area in Kashi, they couldn't pronounce Telangana Swami. He was from Telangana. You know, Andhra Pradesh, the state has been carved out, Telangana. So he was from there. So since he was from that Telangana place, he was called Telangana Swami. Later on, people couldn't pronounce it properly. The Telangana became Trilinga Swami. So he was a realized soul. Ramakrishna visited him and served him also, gave him some payasam and talked to him at that time. So he used to tell him, he is living Shiva. Shiva has made his body to reside there. Ramakrishna used to go and visit him. Likewise, here Latu, he went to meet Swami Bhaskarananda, another great soul who was living in Varanasi or Kashi. So Latu met Swami Bhaskarananda, a well-known scholar, great scholar in Sanskrit and all the scriptures, and a monk, who told him, don't waste your time roaming about. Sit down in one place and call on God and realize God. Why are you roaming here and there? A sadhu should not roam much here and there. Sit at one place, meditate, call on him, call on God and realize God. Why are you roaming so much? So that Swami Bhaskarananda, when Latu met him, who was a well-known scholar and a great monk, he told him, don't waste your time roaming about. Sit down in one place and call on him. Then you are sure to get the Lord's grace. Then if you sit down and call on God, you are sure to get the grace of Lord. So we are interested in roaming. Oh, roam. So what is the real pilgrimage? What is a real enjoyment? Call God, take the name of God, meditate on God. That is real joy. You get real relaxation by that. So that great Bhaskarananda, Swami Bhaskarananda advised Latu to sit at one place, don't roam here and there. All these advices we can take. Let us sit, not roam here and there. Until unless you have to go and serve the poor people, instead of going to that park, Kruger's Park, Drakensberg, and beach resort and that and this, go to different places where the poor people live, serve them. Yes, there you can go to do the service to the living beings in the form of Lord Shiva, in the form of Lord Ramakrishna, or in the form of Lord Narayana or Durga, whatever. You are allowed. The scriptures tell, Ramakrishna used to tell, only for the sake of service to the human being you can give up your sadhana. Otherwise, no other way. You should do sadhana. You should do japa and meditation. Only for service you can give up and go there. So that is like worship of the Lord himself. While you serve the poor people, it is not just you are serving from a higher pedestal. Hey, here, take some food, enjoy. You throw some coins, some cents and tell, hey, here, go and buy something and enjoy. No, that is egoistic way of serving anybody. That is not the way. You should be grateful. This poor man has given an opportunity for you to serve, seeing the Lord. Otherwise, if the poor man doesn't accept your service, then how are you going to show your kindness? How can you express your good quality of kindness and service? So it is not the poor man who has to be grateful to you, but Swami Vivekananda tells it is you are to be grateful to the poor man because he has given you an opportunity to serve him. If he refuses your service, then how can you serve? That is what Swami Vivekananda used to tell. So only for the sake of serving poor people, you can give up the sadhana for that particular time and roam here and there, go there and do the work and come back. But again, you should be careful. One of our senior Swamijis, Buddhanandaji, used to tell, our people, they start with going around and doing good. So again, hear that wonderful words, our people, they start with going around and doing good. Later on, doing good stops and going around only remains. So that should not be the way of serving. Again, hear that beautiful statement of Swami Buddhanandaji Maharaj. Our people start with going around and doing good. So after some time, going round remains and doing good stops. So that should not happen just for simply going round. But doing good, serving people is important. Only for that you can go round. Going round is not the important thing. Okay. So that was the advice given by Swami Bhaskaranandaji Maharaj to Latu. The party with Holy Mother Sharda Devi and other people, Latu, they stayed 3 days at Varanasi, and then after spending 1 day at Ayodhya, this time when I went to Kashi, after that I went to Vindhyavasini, Divine Mother place of Divine Mother. Then from there, I went to Ayodhya. That was during the Deepavali time when Ramachandra with Mata Sita and Lakshmana, they all come back from Sri Lanka, bringing back Mother Sita to Ayodhya. Then they light up the lamp. This time more than 9 lakh lamps were lit. There at that time I was there. I also videographed the whole thing and relayed it live to the managing committee members of Johannesburg. They could see it live. So when I was in Ayodhya at that time, during Deepavali, on the day of Deepavali, I was there in Ayodhya. So that was a wonderful thing. I went to the bank of Sarayu, big river running there, and it goes and merges in Ganga, the bank of which Ayodhya is there, and Lord Rama was born there, and he played there. He touched that Ayodhya, and in the end, after the Ramarajya, after 11,000 years of rule of Ayodhya, then Rama, he wanted to go back to his Vaikuntha from where he came. So he entered this Sarayu river, the ghat, or where that place, bank of that river where Rama entered. There also you can see it now. All that are there. Everything of Rama's advent there is there in Ayodhya. Had gone this time. So now this party with Holy Mother Sharda Devi and Latu, they also went to Ayodhya. After spending 1 day at Ayodhya, the birthplace of Rama. So Yodha is warrior. Ayodhya means no warrior. The city was built at that time when Rama was living there, and even before Rama there was Ayodhya, Dasharatha. Even earlier to that, his forefathers had built that Ayodhya. Why was it Ayodhya? No Yodha. Ayodhya. Warrior or a king or anybody can attack and win. They cannot enter it. So that was done in such a way. That's why it's called Ayodha. It becomes Ayodhya, the birthplace of Rama. Then after that group of people, that is Latu Maharaj, Holy Mother Sharda Devi and others, they came to Vrindavana. Vrinda or Vrinda are the Gopikas and other people of Braja, Gopa Gopi. So that place is called Vana, the forest or the garden. That's why it gets the name Vrindavana, Vrindas Vana. Vana means forest or the place where there is garden. So Vrindavana, the birthplace of Lord Krishna. Balarama Basu, another householder disciple of Ramakrishna, had arranged for their stay in his retreat. He had a place there. He had a house there. Whenever they were all great Vaishnavas, great devotees of Lord Krishna. So whenever they used to visit this place, frequently used to go to Vrindavan. So they had their own house to stay there, retreat house. So Balaram Basu, the devotee of Master, had arranged for their stay in his personal retreat house. Latu visited different temples of Vrindavan with Holy Mother Sharda Devi. At Vrindavan, there was no fixed time for Latu's meals. Latu was like that. He would be meditating, he would be going to different temples, he would be doing japa, and he would not eat properly on fixed time. He would come whenever he got up from meditation. So at Vrindavan or wherever, there was no fixed time for Latu's meals. He would come at odd hours to Holy Mother or her companions. Whenever he used to be hungry, whenever he is not meditating, he used to come and ask Holy Mother or her companions for food. He would come to Holy Mother or her companions at odd hours and ask for something to eat. And after he was given the food, he would feed the monkeys his own bread. So there are a lot of monkeys in Vrindavan, even now, ferocious monkeys. You know, they ask us when they go to Vrindavan not to wear your spectacles, glasses, because I don't know how those monkeys have been trained, or how can you train those wild monkeys? There are monkeys roaming here and there, hundreds and thousands of monkeys are there. So they are menaced there in Vrindavan. So they are also ferocious at the same time. So if you are wearing goggles or spectacle, they come and they steal it, take it away and run and sit on the tree or some rooftop. And what is the way out? People warn when you go to Vrindavan, even now you can keep it in your mind. When you go to Vrindavan, don't wear your spectacles for any reason. The moment you wear, they will come and take it away. Then how to get it back? You can't now go to the hospital and check your eyesight and then get that. It will be too costly. So the local people know it, this trick of the monkeys. So what they do, they will demand some money, 5 rupees or something. Then if you give that, they will take some sweets or some eatables in both the hands. They should throw simultaneously towards the monkey. So when that eatable is thrown towards the monkey simultaneously with both the hands, so this monkey wants to catch that eatable with both the hands. One hand, no, 2 hands. So then it wants to grab that eatable with its hand, then it will throw the spectacle or the glass. Throw down, it will leave to catch. Then this person catches the spectacle or that goggles or whatever glass and give it to that person, the pilgrim there. So the monkeys, lot of monkeys are there. And Latu, he would come odd hours, he would ask for food from Holy Mother. And when they give the food, instead of himself eating, he would feed the monkeys. So naturally, other members, the Golapma and other people would get angry. Holy Mother would be always pleased with Latu. Golapma was there, she would get angry. So he would come at odd hours asking for something to eat. Sometimes he would feed the monkeys his own bread. and he would ask for more food after that. The other women in that company, in that group, were understandably annoyed by this. But first of all, he comes at odd hours. Then, if they give the food, he will feed the monkeys with his own hand, everything. And again, he will come back and tell, give me food. So, the other ladies in that group of pilgrims would get annoyed. The other women were understandably annoyed by this. But Mother Sharda Devi, whom Ramakrishna told had brought to show what is universal motherhood, Vishwa Matrutva, Vishwa Janani. But the mother was all forgiving. See, this is what we have to learn from Mother Sharda Devi. Forgiving, forgiving. All forgiving. Whatever might be the mistake of others, forgive it, serve them. That was Holy Mother Sharda Devi. Vishwa Matrutva, universal motherhood. Today, I think, is Mother's Day. I don't know if I'm right or not. Today is Mother's Day. So in the Western world, but for us Hindus, every day is Mother's Day. We have to serve our mother every day. Not one day should we stop serving our mother. Mother is the highest manifestation of God. Mother and father are the highest manifestation of God. If you can see God in your own mother and father and serve, then it is very easy for you to serve, seeing God in all other living beings. If you cannot serve your own mother and father, seeing God in them, highly impossible for you to serve human beings in the form of God. It's all bogus. If you tell that, oh, I will be serving those people, these people, when you don't look after your own mother and father properly, feed them and serve them. So that is taught in Hinduism. Even now in India, in spite of all the great influence of the Western world, some of the people I've seen with my own eyes, how much they are devoted. They give up their career, they give up their life, everything. They're not bothered about their future at all. They serve their parents so much. Here itself, I don't know whether in this group, Shantanu from Germany is there. He was coming to us in the ashram as a small boy, as a youth. He was studying his engineering. After that, he went to one of the reputed technical colleges, IIT, and he did his MTech. After that, he wanted to pursue PhD. But since his father was retiring and he wanted to serve the parents because the father was going to retire, he gave up his career. He wanted to see other people are bothered only about their career, development, earning money. What will you do after earning money? The goal of Hindus, the goal of Indians, after earning, building up their career was not for their personal aggrandizement or name and fame. It was serving the father and mother, to serve the parents, whoever, whatever they might be. Whatever might be the parents, they may be bad, they may be angry, they may be worst of the people, whatever might be. You know what they tell in India, even if the mother is a prostitute, she is to be considered as mother and as a manifestation of God and served. Why did she become a prostitute? For you, for the child. Why did she become a thief or bad? For the child. She sacrificed everything. So we have to protect and serve the mother and father every day. Whatever you do, you cannot clear the debt of our father and mother. It's called Rina. You cannot clear the debt of father and mother. So that is the place given to mother and father. And that boy Shantanu maybe is in this group. He might be hearing. He might be feeling embarrassed. I'm taking his name. So not only he gave up his career of doing PhD for the sake of his father and mother to serve them, he started earning and then looking after them with so much of great care. He loved and served his mother and father with so much of great care. He's married now. He has a child, Shashwati. She's four years old. Attends our Hinduism for children's classes. And she learns so quickly. She answers so nicely. So now, recently he was telling he will give up the job in Germany, the high earning job in Germany, and he will join a small company in Bangalore. Why? Because his father is sick, so he has to serve his father. So he is coming back, giving up all that high cost job, bringing his child and wife and back to India, back to Bangalore to serve his father, sick father. So that is not only this, I have seen much more. Here, one person, there is a volunteer in Bangalore called Nagaraj. He never married. He just dedicated his life for the service of his father and mother. He used to carry father and mother literally everywhere. It was the intensity of service. Took them to the pilgrimage everywhere. Even after their demise, for nearly 6 months or 1 year, he did all the ceremonies for their liberation. And now he might be aged above 50 or 60. He didn't marry. He just dedicated his life for spirituality. So we have seen, even now, we have seen they dedicate no career, no earning money. Why do they earn money or build up their career? Only to serve father and mother. That is the goal, not for the personal selfish aggrandizement. Father and mother, that is the place given, the highest place to mother. In some place I have heard, when somebody asked, should there be women empowerment and should women be given equal status like men? Then Vivekananda told, no equal status to women like men. Why? In our culture, in Indian culture, in Hinduism, women are considered as mother, highest god, goddess. Why do you want to bring down that position of the woman from that higher state of mother, from the higher state of goddess, highest manifestation of goddess, from that higher level? Why do you want to drag down the position of mother, woman, to your level of the man? No equality. Give a very high position to women. That was what Swami Vivekananda told. That is our Hindu culture. So celebrating this Mother's Day, I feel sometimes laughing at that. Because the Western concept is, you don't look after the mother, throw them in the nursing home or in the old age home. Never go there. Just focus on your career and money and enjoyment. And once in a year, on Mother Day, go take a rose. Hello, happy Mother's Day. Go there, stay and go away. That's all. That is the mother, and they don't know what is that Indian concept, Hindu concept of treating the mother. Once one of the king, Shah Jahan, his son, the Mughal king, the son was Aurangzeb. For the sake of the Muslim ruler, for the sake of the kingdom, he captured his father and he put him into the jail and he became the king and emperor. What a shame. For the sake of kingdom. And what is our Rama? He gave up his kingdom for just a word of his father. He went to the forest. And see here, this person, he's jailing his father and putting him there for the sake of kingdom. And afterwards, once in a while, he used to go and see him in the jail. Would not give him food properly to the father, his own father. Was an emperor earlier, Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan or Humayun? Sorry if I know Aurangzeb is the right thing, but his father, I don't remember. I may be wrong, whatever that might be. Now, one day, the father retorted, you call Hindus as kafirs. You call Hindus kafirs, and you claimed to be a very pure Muslim. This is recorded. I'm not just telling some bogus thing. Shahjahan, that saying of Shahjahan is recorded in their gazettes. What is that? You call Hindus as kafirs, and you yourself call a pure Muslim. You don't look after your and feed your living father properly. But see the Hindus, they not only take care of their father and mothers so devotedly, but even after death, they feed them. They do the Shraddha ceremony and feed them. Every year, even after the death, they think that they will come from the Pitraloka and they will feed them. That is Hinduism. The Hindus feed their father and mother even after their death, thinking that they live in the Pitraloka and they will come and receive. They feed them even after their death. And you call yourself a pure Muslim, and you call them Hindus as kafirs. They feed their father and mother even after their death. You don't feed your father even while living. This is a recorded statement. That is Hinduism, the place of mother. Today is Mother's Day, so I had to deviate a little to tell about Mother's Day, because I feel very sorry to celebrate Mother's Day. One day, only one day, Mother's Day. What a shame. Every day should be Mother's Day, serving your mother. Every day should be your Father's Day, serving your father. That is the goal. Not enjoyment is your goal. Seeing God in mother and father and serving them. Shravana Kumara, all through his life, his old mother and father were blind. Used to carry in two basket on his shoulder, everywhere, pilgrimage everywhere, and feed them, look after them with so much of great. Shravana Kumara. In Ramayana, that story comes, and reading that Shravana Kumara story, Mahatma Gandhi ji tells that he developed great love to his father and mother. From Ramayana, from Shravana Kumara story. Make your children read this Ramayana, the Shravana Kumara story. Teach them all this culture. You're so happy to give the Western culture. You will give the iPads and phones and spoil the children instead of giving Ramayana, Mahabharata, wonderful scriptures of Hinduism. Automatically they will get devotion towards father and mother and everybody. The parents are the one who spoil them. They don't give our culture. And you want that, they don't want to throw away. They will send away. Recently one parent was telling, I'm bringing my children up, I don't know when they will go away afterwards. But if you give these wonderful things, they will be with you, they will be serving always. When somebody, a great person in India, he was a cinema actor, he was also the son of a famous cinema actor. When Oprah came to India and interviewed him from America, he openly, boldly asked that person, how can you live with your parents, father and mother even now? When you have grown up to be adult in America, that is not the way. The moment you stand on your own feet, you become an adult, you separate from your parents, you go away. How can you still live with your parents? That was the question she asked when Oprah. And what was the reply of that person, that actor? I really felt so happy when he replied. He told, how cannot you people be with your parents? How can you not live with your parents? That was a question he asked. She couldn't answer anything. That's Hinduism, that's India. We consider mother as the highest. So that is motherhood. All forgiving. Why do we give the place of God to mother? Why do we consider mother as the God? Because of her unselfishness, all forgiving nature. She will forgive her children. She will forgive anything, any mistakes committed. All forgiving. Always serving the children. So sacrifice, unselfishness. So unselfishness is God. The more you are unselfish, the more you go nearer to God. You will be worshipped like God if you become unselfish. That's what Mother is teaching. Universal motherhood. So Mother was all forgiving. Whenever Latu would come, she remembers how he has served Master, how he has served her. Any peculiarity, odd time he would come for food, Mother would not be all forgiving, give him. Even if the food given to the monkeys and again he comes, Mother is all forgiving and giving the food. These are the things we have to learn. We learn so many unwanted things from unwanted people. They are their ideals. When such great personalities like Holy Mother are there, we are not ready to learn from them. The all forgiving Mother, that motherhood. The other women were understandably annoyed by this, but the Mother was all forgiving and never scolded him for his childlike behavior. Never scolded him. She would give food whenever he used to come. On this Mother's Day, okay, at least we can learn this all forgiving nature, the Mother's nature. Why should you respect the Mother? For her all forgiving nature and unselfishness. And if we don't learn that wonderful quality of Mother on this Mother's Day, what is the use? And we have to continue that all forgiving nature. Yeah. The other women were understandably annoyed by this, but the Mother was all forgiving and never scolded him, never scolded Latu for his childlike behavior. What did she do? She asked her companions to keep Latu's meals well covered in a certain place so that he might come at any time and take his meals as he liked. That is service, real service. Service should not be done according to your convenience. Service should be done to the people in such a way that according to their convenience. So what a wonderful motherhood you see on this Mother's Day. What a wonderful way Mother is treating the children. And she is not a biological mother. She never had one child, but she used to look after everybody. Even Ramakrishna as her child. Her own husband, she used to look after her child. Even she used to look after the gods and goddesses as her child. Vatsalya Bhava. See, in Hinduism, that is the greatness. You can treat God as your child. Vatsalya Bhava is there. As your mother, as your father, you can have relationship with God as your child, as your brother, as your sister, whatever. How much of freedom? My God. That's Hinduism. You know, you do not know the greatness of your religion, Hinduism. Yeah. So, motherhood. The other women were understandably annoyed by this, but the Mother was all forgiving and never scolded him for his childlike behavior. And not only not scolding is negative. What did she do? Positive. She asked her companions to keep Latu's meal well covered in a certain place so that Latu might come at any time and take his meals as he liked. I feel like shedding tears at the compassion of motherhood, isn't it? That is Holy Mother. That is to be the ideal of motherhood. Sometimes Latu would disappear. In the pilgrimage, sometimes Latu would disappear suddenly for a few days, which caused anxiety to Holy Mother. But suddenly he would appear again and inform that he had been on the bank of Jamuna, searching for Lord Krishna, meditating on Lord Krishna. He was sitting on the bank of Jamuna. The Yamuna river in Vrindavan is flowing there, on the bank of which Krishna played as a small child. Up to his 11th year or 10th year, he stayed in Vrindavan. He was born in Mathura, the jail of Kamsa. After that, he was shifted to Vrindavan. So on the bank of Yamuna. So all his childhood up to his 10th year, he left Vrindavan when he was in the 11th year, and he went to Gujarat, present Dwaraka in Gujarat. So up to his 10th year, all his place where he played with his chums, with the cows on the bank, it was all on the bank of Yamuna. So now Latu Maharaj would go and sit on the bank of Yamuna and meditate and call on Lord Krishna. So suddenly in Vrindavan, he would leave this, disappear from this group of pilgrims, Holy Mother and all the other people. Sometimes Latu would disappear for a few days. Naturally, as a mother, it would cause anxiety in the heart of Mother Sharda Devi. Motherhood again, motherhood on Mother Day. Without informing anybody, so that would cause anxiety to Holy Mother. But suddenly he would appear again and he would inform Holy Mother Sharda Devi that he had been on the bank of Yamuna. His unusual manner of living was not controlled by any rules or routine. Latu's unusual manner of living was not controlled by any rules or routine. Now, after the pilgrimage, so after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away, Narendra and some other disciples, the direct disciples, the sannyasin disciples, they established the first Ramakrishna Monastery. They established a first Ramakrishna Monastery at Varanasi. So earlier it was called Varahanagara. You know, Varaha, one of the avatara of Lord Vishnu is Varaha. Varaha means the pig, in the pig form. He protected the Mother Earth from Hiranyaksha, the brother of Hiranyakashipu, father of Prahlada. So that Hiranyaksha wanted to take away the earth, Mother Earth, and hide it in the somewhere in the nether worlds. So Lord Vishnu took the form of boar, wild boar, and killed him. So that is the Varaha avatar. From that, Varaha Nagara. So that has become Apabramsha after many thousand years as Baranagor. Varahanagara has become Baranagor. So there, the first monastery, Ramakrishna Monastery, was established by Narendra and other disciples, which is between Calcutta and Dakshineshwar. It was a dilapidated house or a haunted house too. And this is very close to Ganga, where Sri Ramakrishna's body was cremated, Kashipur Garden House. The rent was very low. Why? No people would come to stay there. Why? Because it was haunted and dilapidated. So people knew there was ghost. Nobody would come to rent that house. So very low rent. So these monks, they thought, who can be better or more bigger ghosts than us? We are all the ghosts of Lord Shiva, the followers of Lord Shiva, Bhuta Gana. So who can be better ghosts? Even the ghosts will fear us and run away. Many people, they talk about death. They are so afraid of talking about death. For us, it is not, because we monks are dead to the world. When we are taking the sannyasa diksha, the monastic vows, before that we have to complete our shraddha, the death ceremony, giving pindas to everybody. Because after that we can't do. So after getting sannyasa, we are dead. We are dead to the world. That is mrityu. We are dead to the world. We are dead to all these worldly things. So we lose that fear of death. Death is nothing. So we are just like ghosts. Sannyasins are like Bhuta Gana of Lord Shiva. What great Bhuta can be there other than that? So they are not afraid of ghosts too. So these direct disciples, as monks, they used to live in that dilapidated and haunted house. And that was also near the cremation ground too. The rent was very low because it was an old, dilapidated building. And also it had the reputation of being haunted. So this year we are celebrating the anniversary of the 125th year of starting the Ramakrishna Matha and Mission by Swami Vivekananda and the other disciples, direct disciples, in Balarama Babu's house. So 125 years have elapsed after founding the Ramakrishna Matha and Mission by Swami Vivekananda and the other direct disciples. So this year they are celebrating that. So in January 1887, Narendra and some other disciples took formal monastic vows. Then earlier Ramakrishna had distributed some ochre cloths to them. Where can you find better monks? These disciples like Narendra, Shivananda, Ramakrishnananda, all those direct disciples are equal to 1,000 monks. You give that ochre cloth and rosaries to them, and Ramakrishna himself gave them sannyasa. He started the order then itself. That is the real founding of Ramakrishna Matha and Mission by Ramakrishna himself with his own hand. Now, in a formal way, you have to take through the Vedic rituals, the Viraja Homa, and ritually with the Havan, you have to take the vows. So in January 1887, Narendra, that is, who becomes Swami Vivekananda, and some other disciples, direct disciples of Ramakrishna, took formal monastic vows with the Agni Sakshi and other things, with all the mantras, Viraja Homa and mantra, sannyasa mantras. They took the formal monastic vow in January 1887 at Varanasi Monastery, that is Varahanagara Monastery, Varanasi Monastery. They studied the scriptures. After that, they studied scriptures. They practiced severe austerities and meditation. So they lived on begging food. They didn't have any money. So every day they would go out to beg. They may get food or they may not get food. They may get scoldings when they used to go begging. You are so strong and young, you are come to beg, go and work. Many people used to scold, they would not give alms. So if they give, they would bring, offer it to Ramakrishna, and then share it as prasad, what little they had got. If they don't get, they will drink little water, sit and meditate, that's all, hungry. So at Varanasi Monastery, they studied the scriptures, practiced severe austerities. What more severity can you see? Severe austerity and meditation, and thus prepared themselves to be the world teachers, Vishwa Guru. Either in the last part of January or in February, early February 1887, Holy Mother Sharda Devi heard that Ramachandra Datta, who is the Ramachandra Datta who bought Latu Maharaj as his servant and then introduced him to Ramakrishna, the earlier master Ramachandra Datta. So that Ramachandra Datta's daughter had died in a fire. Now, Holy Mother Sharda Devi, when she got the news, she immediately sent Latu to Calcutta to his previous employer, that is Ramachandra Datta. So Latu stayed there for a few days, and after consoling and serving and looking after Ramachandra Datta after that sad phase of life, then he returned back to Varanasi Monastery. As some disciples had already taken monastic vows, Vivekananda also asked Latu to take vows of sannyasa. Latu was very happy, agreed at once. So, in a ritualistic way, with the Havan, taking the sannyasa mantra and wearing the ochre cloth, then you should live like a sannyasin. So when Swami Vivekananda, all of them had taken, Latu had not taken, he was there looking after his master. So when he came back to the monastery, when Vivekananda asked him to take monastic vows, sannyasa, in a ritualistic way, in a formal way, as some disciples had already taken monastic vows, Vivekananda asked Latu to also take vows. Latu agreed at once. According to custom, before the sannyasa ceremony, one should perform one's own shraddha. As I told you, any sannyasin has to perform his own shraddha, the obsequious ceremony, the last ceremony, performing the pinda, even if your father and mother and other relatives are alive, and also to the people, the ancestors who are dead and gone, we have to offer them the obsequious ceremony, the pinda, pradhana has to be done, shraddha. It comes from the word shraddha, intense belief, Shraddha. That from that the word Shraddha has come. So you have to do all that Shraddha ceremony. So how did Latu Maharaj do? He doesn't know Sanskrit, he doesn't know anything of the scriptures, he has not read any book. So how did Latu do this thing, the Shraddha ceremony, funeral rites? So according to custom, before the sannyasa ceremony, one performs one's own Shraddha ceremony, funeral rites, because the sannyasis, they would not marry and they would not have children issues. So only the children can perform the last rites or the funeral rites of the parents. But when the sannyasis don't marry and they will not have children, where is the question of their children or anybody performing their last rites? So we have to perform our own last rites beforehand when we get sannyasa. So there is nothing after our death, after this body goes away, there is no funeral or anything like that. Even if we are dead in a storm or on the way or on the street or on the gutter or on the sewage, nothing for sannyasins, because we are already liberated. We have already finished everything. Liberation is given by the Lord already. So now there's no question of this thing after the death. So beforehand, we have to perform the Shraddha ceremony, the funeral rites, thus severing. While you are doing that Shraddha ceremony before sannyasa, then you will be severing all the bonds to that family, your ancestors and everything. Then you are in no way connected to your family through the blood or the genes. You have to sever all the bonds of the family. Then in reality you become a universal personality. Then Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole universe will become your family. Everybody, irrespective of your genes or relatives or anybody, the blood relation, everybody becomes your relative. They are related now through the Atman, through spirituality. So then only you become a real universal personality. Then only you are a Vishwamanava, Aniketana. That is the real meaning of Aniketana. Niketana means home or house. Aniketana means homeless or houseless. So after the sannyasa, that is when you become a universal personality, making the whole universe as your home, as your house. Everybody is related to you. How? Through the Atman. They are your own Atman. That is real Vishwamanava. Then you become a universal personality. Not just if you tell through words that, oh, I'm universal by approach. No. You may be a businessman doing universal multinational companies, eating all the multinational food. Then you are not going to become a universal personality. If you see the Lord in everybody, the Lord who is present in you, the Atman who is present in you is present in everybody, and serve them, then that is universal personality. That is Vishwamanava. Vishwabhratritva. That is taught in Hindu culture. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole universe is your family. So now, according to the custom, before the sannyasa ceremony, one performs one's own Shraddha ceremony, funeral rites, thus severing all ties. So it is not just cutting off the family ties. You should treat everybody like your family. Here, cutting off the family ties means not that hating or pushing away your family members, but you should equally, no partiality to your family members only. You should equally treat everybody. So you have to sever all that selfish bonds from the members of the family, all the ties with the world, and ensuring liberation not only to one's own family, but everybody. During the Shraddha ceremony, now Latu, uneducated, illiterate, he doesn't know anything of mantra. Latu followed his own unconventional method. How did he do? How did he do? How did he perform the mantra of ceremony? He did it in his own unconventional method. Instead of repeating the Sanskrit mantras, of the Shraddha ceremony, he simply evoked. See, he was a realized soul. He has got everything. If he calls, his ancestors will come. He's a realized soul. He has realized the Atman. He has realized God. What more do you want? If he calls gods and goddesses, they will come. That is the strength of a realized soul. So even if gods and goddesses, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu are called, they have to come. That is the strength of a realized soul. And what about ancestors? So if the ancestors are called, they will also come running to him. So now he did not have any mantras and other things. He is a realized soul. What did he do? He simply evoked his departed ancestors. Instead of repeating the Sanskrit mantras, the meaning of the Sanskrit mantra is the same thing, but you repeat it just like a parrot. But here, the real essence of that mantra is invoking them. Latu, he simply evoked his departed ancestors in his own guileless, simple way. And when they came, they literally came. When he did that, he offered food and other articles to them. For us, it is just imagination with the mantras. For him, even when the gods and goddesses can come, the ancestors will be very happy to come, because if they receive the pinda from such a realized soul, they will get liberation. Then and there they will get liberation. Because he is Atma Gnani, realized soul. And when he gives the Shraddha, they will get liberation. They will come running. So in his own, Latu simply evoked his departed ancestors in his own guileless way. And he offered food and other articles to them, saying, how did he do in his own Bihari language or whatever broken Bengali language? Father dear, see, can you stop? Today is Mother's Day today. He is calling his dead father and mother. Father dear, do come here. See, Father dear, do come here. Take your seat, please take your seat. Accept my worship. Take this food and drink, and so on. Mother dear, come here. Accept the seat. Accept my worship. Take this food and drink, and so on. So in a simple, his own broken language, Bengali and Bihari language, he's evoking his own ancestors, everybody. Father, mother, grandfather from the father's side, grandfather and grandmother from the mother's side. Everybody, his uncle, whoever has passed away, is invoking, he is bringing them and giving them pinda, worship, and they are getting liberation. In his own, he simply evoked his departed ancestors. That is the essence of all these things. That is the essence. Latu, he evoked his departed ancestors in his own guileless way and offered food and other articles to them, saying, Father dear, Father dear, do come here. Father dear, do come here. Mother dear, do come here. Take your seat. Please take your asana. I'm giving a seat for you to be seated. Please seat it. We had to give, when our ceremony was done, I still remember. The Purohit had come and he was telling the mantra. You had to give that pinda. Then Darba asana, Darba, Darba grass or the Kusha grass. They get it here in South Africa. That grass is there for the puja. They will bring it. So the Darba asana or the Kusha grass will be given as asana. One Kusha grass will be given there, and asked father to come, mother to come. Then my mother was living at that time, but father was not there. Purvashrama, pre-monastic. So when I was giving the ceremony, doing that ceremony to everybody, even the living, you can give that. So to give the Darba asana, they make them sit on that asana, Give them padya and all the puja, everything just like puja we do to gods, we have to do to our ancestors. Give them food, give them drinking water and everything. And then the pinda, the rice ball and the till, that ball is made, and you should not give like this. For Shubhakarya, you have to give like this. This is funeral and other things, you have to give like this. Even the havan, you have to do like this, not like this. That's why while serving food, if somebody serves like this, they tell in Hindu, in India, not to do, because that is Shraddha Sarma. Not to serve food like this, to serve like this. Because Shubhakarya, for gods and goddesses like this, for ancestors, mains like this. So Pinda. And finally, after all giving to ancestors, you have to go to the bank of Ganga, take the Pinda with your hand like this, and you have to give like this on your left leg, on your own left leg for yourself, Pinda, like this. And you have to repeat the mantra. We have to invoke Lord Vishnu, Gadadhara Vishnu. How? Gaya, Ganga, Gadadhara, Hari. Every mantra we have to repeat this. Gaya, Ganga, Gadadhara, Hari. The Muktidata. Gaya Vishnu, who he only came as Ramakrishna, who gives Mukti. Gaya, Ganga, Gadadhara, Hari. Ganga is also Mukti, river who gives liberation. Gaya, Ganga, Gadadhara, Vishnu. Gadadhara. Gaya, Ganga, Gadadhara, Hari. We have to tell that mantra. Then take this Pinda, that ball, rice ball, and the tila, and put it on our own left leg, considering ourselves as Vishnu and putting on our own left leg. Then the belief is Lord Vishnu, Gadadhar Vishnu, will keep that in his left hand. When he passes away, he will give that to us. That is the belief. So we have to do Shraddha for us also. So here Latu is calling his own father and mother, all the ancestors, so beautifully in a guileless way. Father dear, do come here, take your seat, accept my worship, take this food and drink, and so on. So Latu's life was extraordinary in this way. His single-minded approach to God was wonderful in every way. And he was unique among the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. That's why Vivekananda, because of his uniqueness, he gave him the monastic name Swami Adbhutananda, unique, special, Adbhuta, wonder, meaning he who finds bliss in wonderful nature of the Atman. What is the meaning of Adbhutananda, Swami Adbhutananda? He who finds bliss, Ananda, bliss in the wonderful nature of the Atman, Swami Adbhutananda. So we will stop our conversation because it's already time. We have 5 minutes left. So if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, you can ask now. Any questions on the live chat of the YouTube? There are no questions on the YouTube. So if there are any questions here on the Google Live or any doubt. Okay, if there are no questions or doubt, we will close our session with the prayer.
Ramakrishna Pranam Swamiji.
Yes, Mother.
There is one more Vaidyanath in Maharashtra, Swamiji.
Yeah, Paralyam Vaidyanathancha, that is a Jyotirlinga.
This one of
this is not Jyotirlinga, but people tell, the local people claim that he is a Jyotirlinga, but if you tell the mantra of Jyotirlinga, so Varanasyam Vishwanathancha, so here that different this thing, Aunda and this Paralyam Vaidyanathancha. So Darukavane Naganathancha. Darukavane means Dwaraka. So if you go to Dwaraka. So Naganathancha, there is also another in Maharashtra, Naganatha, Aunda Naganatha. So, but according to the Sanskrit, in our scriptures, the mantra is Naganathancha, that is Darukavane. So here Vaidyanath also Paralyam Vaidyanathan. So Parali is in
Okay.
Maharashtra. So
Maharashtra.
this is the local people claim it is not only that Vaidyanatha in the Devgar is considered to be the this thing by the local people. They also tell that Ravana bought the Atmalinga and kept it there. That story is also connoted there. But the Ravana's Atmalinga story is in Karnataka. That is the uh, what do you call the
Gokarna.
on the bank of the Gokarna. So local people claim that. So what is the harm in that? I visited both the places. So whichever is there, I visited this Devanath, Vaidyanatha. I visited Maharashtra Paralyam Vaidyanatha. Naganatha also, Aunda Naganatha, Darukavane Naganatha. I visited both of them. So I will get both the benefits. So why to get confused? I visited both of them and enjoyed both the places. That's all. Nothing to worry. The more number, if there are hundreds of Vaidyanatha, let us visit everywhere and get the benefit of it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Pranam
Okay.
Sanj.
Yes, mother. Any other questions? Any other doubts? Okay. If there are no questions, no doubts, we'll conclude with the prayer. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshaha Sarvayagneswaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam Pridite Priditam Jagat Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayana.